bitter feud between rappers Yo Gotti and Young Dolph lasted years and should have ended after the tragic shooting of Dolph in 2021.
Important clues in solving a mystery in Memphis. Who shot and killed Young Dolph in his own hometown?
January 2024, things took an even darker turn after Yo Gotti's brother, Anthony Big Jook Mims, was gunned down, leading to intense speculation and online conspiracy theories believing that both shootings were related.
Well, at least 5 police sources have confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook. Now, Big Jook is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti.
On January 13th at 4:15 p.m., cops were called to Perignon Restaurant and Event Center in the city of Memphis, Tennessee, after gunshots were heard. 2 victims, one being Mims, were found with multiple gunshot wounds, and after being transported to the hospital, Mims was pronounced dead. With no arrests yet to be made, Memphis cops released photos of a white Ford Explorer they say may have carried the killers and offered a $4,000 reward for information. As soon as news of Mims' death broke online, the conspiracy theories began to spread as some hip-hop fans brought up Young Dolph's assassination and his long-standing beef with Gotti. Even though it's unconfirmed if Gotti was at the scene of Mims' murder, some are even insinuating that he was the potential target for the hit. In November 2021, whilst buying cookies from his local bakery in Memphis, Young Dolph was gunned down by 2 men in a stolen white Mercedes-Benz. An autopsy report later revealed that he had been hit 22 times. Hundreds of people swarmed the scene of the attack, leading to a curfew being put in place to prevent civil unrest and violence. The investigation into the shooting led to 4 suspects being arrested. Cornelius Smith and half-brothers Justin and Jamarcus Johnson were all charged with their involvement in the shooting, and their trials have been set for later in 2024. Although it's important to clarify that there is no concrete evidence or official information linking Gotti to Dolph's death, it's been reported that the 4th man arrested, Hernandez Govan, who information linking Gotti to Dolph's death, it's been reported that the 4th man arrested, Hernandez Govan, who is accused of arranging the shooting, could have possible links to Gotti after people online alleged that Govan and Gotti's brother Mims were once associates. In September 2022, Govan's rapper daughter, Lotta Cash Desto, was shot dead, with some speculating that her death was thought to be a retaliatory action to Dolph's murder.
I just caught me 210 trying to go up with you and your friends. Got off in the ladies' beans, you trying to finesse again.
However, none of these speculations have been confirmed yet by the Memphis Police Department. After a reporter brought up Gotti's name to Deputy Chief Paul Wright Jr. during a press conference about Mims' murder, he replied,
"This is preliminary, so we hadn't developed a connection to that at this time. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by these suspects."
The origins of Gotti and Dolph's feud are said to have started when Dolph allegedly rejected an offer to sign with Yo Gotti's record label, CMG, in 2014. The snub soon grew into a tension that could be heard in their music and interviews. Young Dolph's 2016 debut album, King of Memphis, was said to be interpreted as a direct challenge to Gotti, as it was a title that he had repeatedly referred to himself as. Dolph alleged that Gotti wasn't a fan of his growing success, taking to X to post, "Bra went from being my #1 fan and wanting to sign me to being my biggest hater." In 2016, Gotti's CMG artist, Blac Youngsta, got himself involved with the rivalry, throwing shade to Dolph in his track Shake Some. Blac's video features himself cruising Dolph's South Memphis neighborhood heavily armed.
Everybody get kicked out. What Dolph say, man? What Dolph say? What Dolph say? Yeah, man. I don't know what Dolph say. I know he in his own head, man. What Dolph say? Where he at?
Although Dolph wasn't acknowledged by name, Gotti also fired back with his track Don't Beef With Me.
Haters gone in the plug, can't get God answer my prayers. Hey, man. Stayed down till the money came, I guess God answer my prayers.
Dolph then dropped the track Play With Yo Bitch, with the video featuring a Gotti lookalike being mocked.
Nigga, you a beef with a dyke out there in North Memphis, where you from? Nigga, you a bitch, nigga. Oh God, I'm disappointed in you, man.
The very next day, whilst on tour in Charlotte, North Carolina, a vehicle Dolph was riding in was shot at more than 100 times. Luckily, the car was bulletproof, and Dolph, unharmed, still performed that night. Blac Youngsta was one of 3 men who surrendered to cops for the shooting, but after being charged with 6 counts of discharging a weapon into occupied property and felony conspiracy, charges were later dropped due to insufficient evidence. But for Dolph, that wouldn't be the last time that he would be fired at. Openly admitting once in an interview that he had been a target of violence since his teenage years, in September 2017, he needed emergency surgery after being shot in the valet parking area of the Loews Hollywood Hotel.
The LAPD now wants to talk with rapper Yo Gotti following a shooting in front of Loews Hotel in Hollywood. The individual you've mentioned has been possibly identified as being involved in what took place earlier. To what degree, we have no idea at this point.
100 shots.
Another rapper, Young Dolph, in critical condition, shot several times in the body, and police say they have hotel security video they're now looking over.
But then in November 2021, Dolph's luck ran out. Prior to his death, rapper Soulja Boy was on Instagram Live speaking to his followers when a fan brought up Dolph's name. Speaking about his own beef with the rapper, Soulja jokingly put a bounty on Dolph's head for information about his whereabouts, saying, "I bet $100,000 this nigga won't give me an address. How about that? Look, I got 100K cash. Look, DM the address and you can have all this in my hand. How about that?" In response to Dolph's murder, the Millennium Tour that Soulja was performing with removed him from their lineup.
In a lounge truck, let's do it. Pull up with a bad bitch and a booty stoop, yeah.
It's important to state that there is no suggestion that Soulja Boy is connected with Young Dolph's death, and he has never been named as a suspect. The question is, will we ever find out who was responsible, and will they be brought to justice?